I think by now most people are familiar with your story. So first up, what possessed you to stay in Sri Lanka after the first tour was cancelled back in March?
Well, yeah. So I got here and I already knew that the game was cancelled as I was sat on the plane waiting to take off when the news came. But it was one of the last sporting events to be cancelled actually. So it was inevitable. So there was a week here in Unawatuna Beach where the Barmy Army and cricket fans kind of congregated. And then the news kind of deteriorated. People panicked and got flights home. The foreign minister is telling all Brits abroad to come home. But I'd actually been working pretty solid to afford this trip. It was actually my second flights I bought out there as the original ones were cancelled. So I wasn't going to give this up so easily. So I stayed. A huge factor in that is I work remotely and I have my laptop with me. So obviously that played a big part that I could do that. I just thought Corona would be over in a month. I think most people did think that as well. So it went into kind of lockdown here, and then England's return was penciled in quite early for January 21. So I kind of formed the idea it'd be pretty hilarious if I stayed this whole time. And I can't actually believe it's been this long. It's happened. Yeah.
What's it been like staying in another country during a pandemic?
Well, it's not been difficult at all. The first 2 months was hard because Colombo was strictly locked down. People couldn't leave their houses. I was actually in the south, so I had it a bit easier. That they had 3 or 6 day curfews where you couldn't leave the property, but then they'd have a day off or 2 days off, so people can go to the shop and get food. So that went on for 2 months. I was staying in a hostel with one other person. The hostel was closed, so they let us stay, but we had to sort of cook and fend for ourselves. But at the same time, I adopted a little pup. We'd had a bit of a hard upbringing, so he was staying in my room. It was nice to have a little bit of company. His little mate that was just following me around. And it wasn't, I was on the beach, so I kept sneaking onto the beach. I was in Hirakatia. Normally it's like thriving full of tourists. And I had it on to myself for many, many times. It was very surreal. So that was, it wasn't too bad. And then, comparing myself to other people, say back home in the UK, that may have been living in like flats or small apartments. I generally had it very good. So it wasn't too hard at all, to be perfectly honest with you.
Were there any moments where you potentially regretted your decision? I'm just thinking particularly when England's tour to South Africa got cancelled halfway through it, or when Moeen got his positive COVID test. Were you worried that after all these months that it might be cancelled at the last minute?
Yeah, there was plenty of red flag moments. It was a wing and a prayer that they were going to come back. It only got confirmed in early December. So, what's that, like 7 months where I wasn't even sure they were coming back. But, I missed family and friends, but I don't think there was any point when I thought I was going to come home. I was having a pretty good time. I kind of enjoyed traveling. I was getting work done. I was able to support myself. Even if England didn't come, it wasn't like it would have all been not worth it. I've been having a good time out here.
Nice. And then I saw on Twitter that there was a bit of drama getting to the venue. So what happened there, and how were you eventually allowed to watch the test from the fort?
Communication is not Sri Lanka's strong point. There were rumours. Up to this point, I was imagining being able to get in. The Barmy Army said they should be able to get me in. Michael Vaughan made a false promise he would be able to get me in. I've been joking with Mickey Arthur the whole time that I could be the Sri Lankan water boy to get in. What I didn't know was that the game was behind closed doors, but that was meant very strictly, like you couldn't get near the ground. The fort was always my fallback. I got there nice and early on day one. I spent 2 hours putting up 3 banners. They're 5 meters by 3 meters. So I had a help from my friend Tom. So we put those up. I sang Jerusalem. as loud as I could, probably not quite in the right key. But I can't say I didn't try my best trying to project my voice from the fort on my own. But after that, it just descended into huge disappointment. They kicked me off. They took my banners down. That was heartbreaking. Then I had to go to the police station to try and get permission to be on the fort. So I was there twice to get sent in circles. I was at gates around the ground trying to peer through the fence, and then kept getting moved on by men with guns. I kept trying to sneak on the fort, but the police just had me as a marked man. I eventually took matters into my own hands and put a high-vis and hard hat on and dressed up as a construction worker because there were workers up there to try and get a vantage point for the game. I eventually got caught by the police. They were like, "Sir, why are you wearing this?" I said I'm on the work site and it's safety first. So that humoured them, and they said, "Oh, you really want to watch the game?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." So they let me watch the evening session of the first day from the fort, which was nice of them. However, day 2 I returned, and this angered them a lot. They said they'd given me a chance to watch last night, and now you've come back. You're taking the mick out of us. They're like, just leave and don't come back. You're not allowed. So it was pretty hard and fast. So at that point, I was like, oh no, this is only day 2, and this is not going to happen. So I tried the ground again, peered through fences. I resigned to watch it in a cafe with other fans that are trying to get in. And that's when, I've been talking to reporters and people back home for quite a bit. And one reporter gave me a number for someone at the SLC. So I rang this dude up and said, I need to get on the media accreditation list to give me access to the fort to be able to report on the game. And they needed permission from the England camp. And I needed permission from Danny Rubin. So I messaged Danny Rubin, and he offered to help straight away. He replied back saying yes. He sent an email to the man at the SLC saying I have permission. So after that, the guy from the SLC said he'd phoned the police and told them I was allowed. And as I went back up to the fort at the end of day 2, the same policeman that had been kicking me off and telling me not to come back, they were like, Mr. Lewis, welcome. Their attitude was a complete reversal. So I saw the end of play on day 2 there. And from that point on, it was just amazing. I was one of only 2 people up there the whole game. There was another reporter up there. But I was able to sing Jerusalem on day 3, which was amazing. And I caught Joe Root's double 100 where he saluted me. So it was nice of him to double up because I missed his century because I couldn't get in the ground. So it's very nice of him to double up and give me a chance. Give me a chance to clap him.
That's amazing. What was it like to watch a whole test match essentially by yourself?
Very surreal. I'd imagined being the only England fan singing Jerusalem. I played this out over in my head quite a few times. But there could have, if they'd let people up on the fort, there would have been a few other people up there. But I never it actually materialised. It was so surreal. I'm trying to sing songs. I don't even know if they can hear me or not. Just yelling as loud as I can. Got told off for hanging more banners off the side twice. I was on my last. Last warning. They're like, don't hang the banners off, sir. I was like, okay, I really apologise. But it was incredible. I think I've proven, on one hand, a point that we need the fans back because it can't just be left for one man to sing these songs. My throat is pretty coarse after a few days of that.
And Joe Root not only saluted you when he got to double 100, but he gave you a call as well. That was pretty special. Did you know that was going to happen?
No, entirely unexpected. He gave me a clap after the game from the far side, which was great, and I got caught on camera. So that was a special moment. And I just kind of hang around on the fort. I was just lapping up the moment, had a couple of beers to celebrate the win. And then he came over with Danny. I could see he was on the phone. It turns out he was on the phone to TMS, telling them that he's about to call me. And then he just waved with a little phone signal. So I looked at my phone, he's calling me, and had a personal call from the England captain. It was, oh man. It was amazing. It was just remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. It was.
What did he say to you?
He was thanking me for my support. He'd heard of my story. Said the lads appreciated it. I was just thanking him back, just saying thank you and well done on your man of the match award. It means the world. I was like, you just made me a very happy boy. It was an amazing gesture.
What's next then? Are you going to stay in Sri Lanka for good, follow England around the world, get a gig with the Barmy Army? What's next?
Well, the immediate future is the second test, which starts on Friday. So I'll be here singing loud and proud on my own. So I'm going to just revel in it because this is never going to happen again. This is insane. So I'm going to do that. I'm hoping to get in the ground. There's rumours they're going to let some media in, and whether that includes me still being on this list, I don't know. So fingers crossed for that. I've been chatting to the Barmy Army this whole time. They have been super amazing. I've set up this charity campaign for We Care, who look after the street dogs. I asked the Barmy Army if you want me to like hang your flags and sing your songs and represent them, then please can you help me support this charity, which they have done. Chris Millard and the team have been truly amazing with that. I can't thank them enough. So we've been chatting. I said there's quite a lot going on, Chris. Obviously, attention is going to turn to the India tour. That is also meant to be behind closed doors. I don't know. I don't know. It would be great if I can get a gig with the Barmy Army. They've mentioned it already. So reporting for them would be a dream. We'll talk after the second test and